quick glitch that we had.
All
All
right,
right,
perfect.
perfect.
Now,
Now,
what I
what
was
I was
saying
saying
is,
is,
people
people
who
who
have
have
more
more
than
than
10 to
10 to
15
15
years
years
of
of
work
work
experience, you
experience,
will
you will
ultimately
ultimately
be
be
managing
managing
AI
AI
generalist
generalist
and
and
AI
AI
strategy
strategy
inside of
inside
your
of your
organizations.
organizations.
Every
Every
next
next
hire
hire
that you
that
will
you
be
will be
making
making
should
should
be
be
of
of
someone
someone
who
who
is,
is,
AI
AI
aware,
aware,
right?
right?
Who is
Who is
already
already
an
an
AI
AI
generalist.
generalist.
And for
And for
you to
you
be
to be
able to
able to
do
do
that,
that,
for
for
you to
you
be
to be
able to
able to
guide a
guide a
team of
team of
people
people
who
who
are
are
AI
AI
native,
native,
you
you
should
should
be
be
AI
AI
native
native
yourself
yourself
so that
so
you
that
are
you are
able to
able to
draft the
draft the
strategy
strategy
of your
of your
company
company
very,
very,
very
very
well,
well,
right?
right?
And
And
people
people
who
who
have
have
15
15
plus
plus
years of
years of
experience,
experience,
while
while
they are
they are
all the
all the
highest
highest
paid
paid
people
people
inside the
inside the
organization,
organization,
these
these
people
people
will
will
also
also
be
be
responsible
responsible
to
to
understand what
understand
are
what
the
are the
current
current
processes
processes
and
and
transform
transform
these
these
current
current
processes
processes
into
into
AI
AI
driven
driven
processes.
processes.
So
So
these
these
years
years
will
will
still
still
be
be
very,
very,
very
very
important in
important in
today's
today's
world.
world.
And
And
people
people
who
who
currently
currently
have
have
3 to
3 to
9
9
years of
years of
work
work
experience,
experience,
what we are
what we are
seeing
seeing
is
is
that
that
these
these
are the
are the
people
people
who are
who are
building the
building the
solutions
solutions
inside of
inside of
organizations and
organizations and
companies,
companies,
right?
right?
So
So
these are
these
the
are the
people
people
who
who
will
will
end
end
up
up
using the
using the
AI
AI
models,
models,
using the
using the
AI
AI
tools
tools
and
and
workflows to
workflows to
build
build
solutions
solutions
based on
based
the
on the
strategy
strategy
that is
that is
being
being
proposed
proposed
by the
by the
senior
senior
bucket.
bucket.
And
And
people who
people
are
who are
getting
getting
started with
started
their
with their
careers at
careers
this
at this
point of
point of
time,
time,
AI
AI
can
can
truly
truly
be
be
your
your
unfair
unfair
advantage
advantage
to
to
grow
grow
faster
faster
than
than
95% of
95%
the
of the
people
people
around you.
around you.
So
So
if you
if
are
you are
just a
just a
college
college
student
student
today,
today,
and
and
if you
if
are
you are
attending
attending
this
this
and your
and your
friends are
friends are
probably
probably
playing
playing
cricket
cricket
today
today
or
or
this
this
weekend,
weekend,
then you
then
are
you are
at the
at the
right
right
place, my
place, my
friend,
friend,
and you
and
will
you will
have a
have a
lot to
lot to
go
go
ahead
ahead
and
and
share with
share
your
with your
friends
friends
after
after
this
this
mastermind
mastermind
gets
gets
over.
over.
And the
And the
way
way
companies have
companies
been
have been
operating
operating
also
also
is
is
fundamentally
fundamentally
changing,
changing,
right?
right?
We have
We have
had
had
people
people
working
working
with
with
other
other
people
people
so
so
far,
far,
but
but
what we are
what we are
seeing
seeing
is
is
that
that
people
people
now
now
are
are
having to
having to
work with
work with
other
other
AI
AI
bots
bots
or
or
robots
robots
for
for
that
that
matter.
matter.
And
And
this
this
is the
is the
shift
shift
that we are
that we
going
are
to
going to
continue to
continue to
see
see
over the
over the
next
next
many
many
years
years
as
as
well.
well.
And the
And the
biggest
biggest
opportunity
opportunity
that we are
that we are
seeing
seeing
for
for
everybody,
everybody,
for
for
all the
all the
working
working
professionals
professionals
or
or
people who are
people who are
getting
getting
started
started
with their
with their
careers at
careers
this
at this
point of
point of
time,
time
is in
is in
consulting.
consulting.
You will
You will
see
see
that a
that a
lot of
lot of
mentors
mentors
that will
that
be
will be
coming in
coming
to
in to
teach you
teach you
during this
during this
mastermind
mastermind
are
are
also
also
working
working
professionals
professionals
but
but
having
having
their
their
own
own
consulting
consulting
firms
firms
or
or
agencies
agencies
on the
on the
side
side
with
with
which they
which
are
they are
able to
able to
help
help
people
people
implement
implement
generative
generative
AI
AI
practices.
practices.
And
And
why are
why are
so
so
many
many
people
people
able to
able
do
to do
that
that
today?
today?
How
How
are they
are they
able
able
to
to
have
have
side
side
incomes
incomes
coming for
coming for
themselves?
themselves?
Well,
Well,
that is
that is
because
because
today,
today,
as an
as an
AI
AI
generalist,
generalist,
if you
if you
have
have
strong
strong
understanding of
understanding of
business
business
and
and
strong
strong
understanding of
understanding of
AI,
AI,
you
you
really will
really will
be
be
able to
able to
add a
add a
lot of
lot of
value.
value.
And
And
we'll
we'll
speak
speak
about
about
this
this
as we
as we
move
move
forward
forward
as
as
well.
well.
In
In
fact,
fact,
Raghuveer
Raghuveer
will
will
also
also
share
share
his
his
journey
journey
in
in
terms of
terms of
how
how
he
he
has
has
led
led
growth for
growth
a
for a
lot of
lot of
top
top
companies
companies
that we
that we
know
know
of,
of,
but
but
eventually
eventually
transitioned
transitioned
into
into
an
an
AI
AI
generalist
generalist
and
and
be
be
able to
able to
build
build
products,
products,
build
build
consulting
consulting
agencies
agencies
through
through
that.
that.
So,
So
what we
what
are
we are
anticipating is
anticipating
that
is
the
that the
future
future
probably is
probably is
going to
going
be
to be
all
all
about the
about the
gig
gig
economy.
economy.
And if you
And
have
if you've
heard of
heard of
this
this
podcast by
podcast by
Elon
Elon
Musk,
Musk,
even
even
he
he
goes and
goes and
speaks
speaks
about,
about,
he
he
goes on
goes
to
on to
speak
speak
about the
about the
same,
same,
right?
right?
That
That
in the
in the
future,
future,
probably
probably
people
people
might
might
not
not
have
have
full time
full-time
roles
roles
anymore,
anymore,
but
but
people
people
will
will
have
have
or
or
enter
enter
something
something
called
called
as the
as the
gig
gig
economy.
economy.
Now,
Now,
I
I
quickly
quickly
want to
want
take
to
a
take a
slight
slight
detour
detour
and
and
speak to
speak
the
to the
entrepreneurs
entrepreneurs
and
and
hustlers
hustlers
as
as
well.
well.
Because
Because
all the
all the
entrepreneurs and
entrepreneurs and
hustlers,
hustlers,
I'm
I'm
sure you
sure you
already know
already know
what the
what the
future of
future of
teams
teams
is going
is
to
going to
look
look
like.
like.
We
We
spoke
spoke
about
about
this.
this.
The beauty is that today you don't need a huge team or manual power to run things. And because of that, the cost of running teams essentially comes down, and the pace at which you can execute has drastically increased. And people who execute are the people who end up winning at the end of the day. Now, people who are from San Francisco, I'm sure you would have seen billboards like these being put up, which are essentially saying stop hiring human beings. The era of AI employees is right here. And these are the AI employees that we should all learn to build. And you could build these AI employees for your business, irrespective of whether your business is in its early stage or mid stage or late stage, or even if you're a consultant or a freelancer. Let's say you are a single person who is working out of your home. You could have a lot of AI employees working for you, and the cost of running them will be very less compared to the cost of having other human beings in your team. And one thing that I want to quickly do before I hand this over to Raghuveer and he takes over is to play this short clip I want you to listen to this one thing that Sam Altman says in this particular video, and I'll give you context about why this has become so viral as well. Let me go ahead and play this for you.
Highly performant, smaller teams, thanks to these tools and these technologies, can be able to do so much more. Is that a trend you're seeing from the startups growing around y'all in Cerebral Valley?
We're going to see 10-person billion-dollar companies pretty soon, like billion-dollar valuations. And the thing that in my little group chat with my tech CEO friends, there's this betting pool for the first year that there's a 1-person billion-dollar company, which would have been unimaginable without AI, and now will happen.
I'm so happy you said that because I literally just wrote that out.
Give me a thumbs up if you understood what Sam Altman went on to say in this particular video. And let me tell you this, this was almost, this recording was done almost about 2 years back. And today, I had asked many of you if you have heard about this tool called OpenClaw, and many of you said yes, some of you said no. Well, the founder of OpenClaw, or OpenClaw was not built by an entire team, it was in fact built by one person. And this one person went ahead and sold the entire software to OpenAI itself. And they're going to work on this and make it better and better. And we do not know at what price he actually went ahead and sold it, but I was watching one of the interviews where he went ahead and said that he almost got close to $1 billion for what he went ahead and built. So what Sam Altman mentioned almost 1.5 to 2 years back is actually happening today, wherein you yourself can build products that could sell out and get you more than $1 billion as well if you're continuously at it and also executing. So what matters today, no matter who you are, is how well are you able to think like an AI orchestrator or an AI operator, and how well are you able to think like an AI generalist in spite of who you are. And that is the journey that we want to help all of you get started with. What is it that you need to learn to be different from everybody else who's using generative AI? Well, I believe and we believe that you should get started with truly knowing how do these generative AI models really work? How can you talk to these models in the most effective manner? Which AI model to use where? And be able to build your own toolkit as well. And that is what we are going to get started with. The next 2.5 to 3 hours, I want you to have your absolute focus, because we have Raghuveer right here. Let me go ahead and put the spotlight on him. And as I do that, I also want to tell you that while we have a lot of notes that we ourselves will be sharing with all of you, I would want all of you to take down notes as well, because that will keep you attentive as we move forward. But super excited to have you here, Raghuveer, and folks, drop in excited on the chat if you are equally pumped up and got complete context about what is it that we are going to be doing.
Hi, Funny. Hello. Super excited to be here. And I mean, that video about Sam Altman used to feel like a hypothesis, not very long ago. It used to feel like all these tech CEOs say these big ass things and we don't know whether they'll come true. But yeah, the example of OpenClaw and even some of the other companies which are 3%, 4% teams that are pulling off, these heists, right? It's a great time to build. It's a great time to learn. So I'm super excited to, be here and share my journey with all of these people here.
Wonderful. I'm loving the excitement on the chat. Folks, please don't spam, but Raghuveer, I think we can get started.
Awesome. All right, let me take the screen over. Thank you, Funny, for setting the context, as always. I'm hoping that people are equal parts excited, equal parts nervous about what's about to come in their careers, in their lives. But let's see how we can navigate that a wee bit better by upscaling, right? Let me get the housekeeping announcements out of the way. Please set your phones on silent. Funny's already told you all about the importance of notes. So please ensure that a pen, paper and water bottle are your best friends for the next couple of hours. I am a big believer in pen, paper. Yes, we use a lot of AI, but it comes down to making important notes. And, Sam Altman, the same guy you just heard, also talks about how pen, paper is going nowhere, right? So while we're using the latest of technologies, we should continue to use some of the older ones that really make it, work for us. While it's impossible to cover every single hack, I'll try and do my best to, expand the spread of things, because I know that we have, 12,000 odd people today on the call, and I want to make sure that all of you get something that you can apply in your lives once you go back. Be ready to absorb, learn, and apply what you're seeing. You will see some things that you're familiar with, some things that are absolutely new. So just keep your mind open for things that you could take back into your life. And if you can tell me that, a couple of things changed in the way you're working, in the way you're living your life, then I feel like I've done my job as a mentor. Now that the housekeeping announcements are out of the way, let's get started, right? So Funny's been mentioning about, hey, there's this, practitioner that is now started his own consultancy, is running a couple of other things on the side. How am I able to do that, right? What was my journey that got me here? And I'm sure a lot of you are curious about how to navigate from where you are in your lives right now. If you're in leadership, then the entire shift is changing there. If you're in, mid-management, you know that, jobs are at stake. If you're just about to get into jobs, you also know that it's become very difficult in the job market. Bunch of other things, right? Every marketeer today is expected to, be a T-shaped marketeer, right? So there's 5 or 6 things that they have to do. They have to learn a little bit of channels. They have to learn a little bit of operations. They have to learn a little bit of creative. All of this is necessary. Once I realized that, at Uber, that product has a lot of power, I thought, okay, let me just, switch and move to product. And then for the last couple of years, before the term was made, was coined and was popular, I became an AI generalist. Today I call myself that. Back then I just called myself a consultant. But I'm starting to realize that this is becoming a real thing. I've been privileged to work at some great places with some great people. So I was at Uber, I was at Nash Daily, I was at Red Health, I was at Ofo. But whenever you see a slide like that, right, it looks fancy. Our CVs are the best version of ourselves. But when you look at the path there, right, it's often quite messy. So I also want to be real about that. When I started out, I wanted to be a creative guy, so I started as a photographer. Then I thought, who gives photographers work? And it was the agencies or the studios. So I said, okay, let me move on and try and become the agency guy. Then I said, oh, the clients are the ones, the businesses are the ones that are giving. And I said, okay, maybe starting my own thing will be giving me that, final full freedom of executing everything that I want. And today, I'm back to not leading teams, but being a CEO now really enables you to be beyond what your core skill set is, or what your core, area of expertise is, right? Let me show you how it looks. Back in the day, when I was a generalist, I would do a little bit of research. I would learn a little bit of analytics and data. I was always good at content. I learned growth. I learned CRM. I learned writing. I even had to learn user experience, because all these are essential for marketing and product. But then, once the AI tools and models came into the fore, right, it started feeling like everything is an 80% instead of a 20%. So that same T-shaped structure now looks like a big block, right? And I said, let's flip the bird to the corporate system and let's try and do all of it, and let's see where we end up, right? And I can say that so far in the last 3 years now of running this practice, it's been going well. It's been turning out that, this is the best way to stay on top of what is happening in the AI world, because every single day there's a new update. All right, on that note, we'll keep doing these, fun little color polls every once in a while. I'd want to know what the room is at. What color is the room? Is it a yellow? Is it an orange? Pick green if you're a generalist, and pick maroon or red if you're a specialist. And I just want to understand this, because some of the demos that we'll take, we can kind of switch real time depending on how the room is feeling. Country into India. Right, so it plays in the space of foreign exchange, and it is a very complex space. A lot of people get a lot of penalties, and Regality tries to protect them from that. The second one, Funny already mentioned this, is called buildwithrv.com, and this is my consultancy business. And I'm able to scale this up purely as a one-person team, because I have AI helping me. The third one is a space of passion for me, a space of community for me. I got diagnosed with ADHD 3 years ago. And I realized that I'm one of those people who has a system to figure out certain things. So I thought I need to share this with the community. I ended up building an iOS app which gives you shortcuts, Apple shortcuts that help you manage that conditioning better. And it's been a fantastic experience because across these three, I've been able to connect with so many builders. And at the end of the day, I feel like AI gives you all this opportunity because you end up working and meeting more people. So it actually makes you more human, as ironic as that sounds. Now, in short, I've been cooking, and I hope that you could borrow a thing or two from that journey. But today, I'm here to share these recipes with you. All right, let's get started. All of you who've been nervous or almost fidgety about when does this session actually start, this is that moment. Let's jump right in. Now, what is Gen AI?